Morning, guys. Gonna need this today. There are two big announcements coming. So this afternoon, the iPhone whatever, X8, whatever they're gonna call it, is going to be released. So I'm gonna watch the keynote on that. And then right now, actually, Sony in the next 10 minutes, I guess, are going to do some kind of announcement for a new camera. Of course, by the time you're watching this, you already know what it is, but we're gonna check it out anyway. This guy's gonna give us something new. So right now they're recapping, I guess, because this has already been announced, but this is the Sony RX0, which a lot of people think it's an action cam, and it's really not quite that. It's a step up from an action cam. So the whole idea is that you have this small package that you can control remotely that can fit into places where a camera couldn't fit, but you can think of this as kind of like a GoPro on steroids, I guess. It's got a fixed focal length lens, but image quality is supposed to be amazing. Apparently it's tough too. Look at him go.
$200 force.
So what they're demonstrating here is the only way to break a Sony is to actually hit the record button. All right, that was a little mean. Not really. Okay, so I have some experience with the RX10 lineup, and I actually think they're kind of cool cameras, but I have some thoughts on this that I want to share with you, but we're going to move over to the bigger camera. I'm using the RX100 IV right now, and it's going to overheat if I talk too long. I can think of one announcement I would have liked to have heard. Okay, so I was kidding around a little bit earlier, sort of. I yearn for the day where Sony makes a product announcement that has some kind of indication that the processor is being beefed up to the point where it can handle the specs that these cameras have. Sony make wonderful products. The image quality is incredible. The video quality, especially in 4K, is outstanding. But then there are other problems that happen, particularly with overheating when you're shooting video at 4K on various models. I really wish that could be addressed. But alas, that's not what they were talking about today. They did a recap on the RX0, and then they also announced the Sony RX10 Mark IV, which I actually like the RX10 lineup. I have tried the RX10 Mark II. Last year I did a video, in fact almost a year ago, give or take, I did a review on the RX10 Mark III that I borrowed from B&H. I really liked that camera a lot. It is a bridge style camera, which is the same as exactly the same form factor as you're seeing in the 4. I'll talk about the form factor in a second, but essentially it allows you to have a very versatile but fixed lens. And so you can think of it a couple ways. Like a bridge camera could be, it's a DSLR, but you can't change the lenses. Or you could think of it as a really oversized compact version of the RX100 or something like that. I think that considering the price point and what you get out of that, the big takeaway with the RX series in general is the fact that you get basically a focal length equivalent of 24 to 100 millimeter focal range. You can do tele macro, and this all comes in a package, 4K video, etc. for, it's about $1,700, which if you were to buy those as components, it would cost you a lot more than that. Of course, you are down to a 1-inch sensor, but I think we're at the point now with technology where, especially with what Sony have done in sensor design over the last couple of years, is don't think that you're not going to get really good results with a 1-inch sensor. They really are building stuff around that that is pretty amazing. The RX100 V has the same 1-inch sensor on it. It is outstanding. I did an entire vlog with that camera only. This was a couple months ago when I went to New York, and my friend Eric Rossi and I went to Brooklyn. I will link that up here. So if you want to see what a 1-inch sensor can do, low light, daylight, everything. I used that camera, and I used a gimbal for that, and that's all I shot on the entire day. Now, I was vlogging, so you're shooting in short segments. I did have some overheating problems when the sun was in a particular area, and we were in a very warm location. I had to turn the camera down to let cool, but I shot all day, and that happened once. Now, I'm not shooting more than 5 minutes at a time. I'm shooting in small bursts. disperse most of the day, and I did have 5 batteries with me. So is this system perfect? No, and we're talking about 2 different things here, but this is this RX series. They all use the same batteries. But the RX10 is a cool camera, and the big additions that they're adding onto this one is, first of all, they didn't make a big deal about this, but I think it's a huge deal, is phase detection autofocus. The autofocus on here is much improved, and so if you're shooting video or anything where you're going to be using heavy continuous autofocus, the RX100 IV is good enough for that, and this is going to have some of the same focusing system that that camera does now, so I think the RX10 Mark IV is a very viable option for that. Phase detection autofocus is a big deal, and that was one of the frustrations I had with the previous version, the 3. The second thing they have added for still shooting is you can get now continuous 24 frames a second. So what they're doing is they're taking what they've introduced in the A9, and you're starting to see that technology trickle down into other cameras as well. Of course, the RX100 V does that as well, but the RX100 V is a pocketable camera. It doesn't have nearly the focal range on the lens, and so basically this is like a concept of taking the RX100 V and beefing it up into something that is, you know, a bigger camera and just does a lot more. It's just taking that concept and seeing how far they can take it. Anyway, this is all I'm going to say about that today. I would like to get my hands on one. I don't own one, but this is an excellent camera for somebody who wants to get an all-in-one inclusive versatility package, but doesn't want to buy the components separately or spend a ton of money on it. We'll see, and I'll wait till I get my hands on one until I can actually tell you. I do think these work really well for video, but at the same time, I think Sony are kind of moving away from that. For instance, on the Mark II, you had built-in neutral density filters, and you didn't on the 3, and I don't think you do on the 4. They didn't say anything about it today. It does have threading on the lens, though, so you can actually attach a physical filter, but it would be nice just to have one built in that you could use. I want to know what you guys think. Is this exciting? Is this eh? Does Sony need to fix some things so they'll be as awesome as they can be? I think so. But anyway, leave me a comment and let me know. If you guys enjoyed this video, please remember to like it, share it with your friends, subscribe to The Art of Photography for more videos. See you guys in the next one. I got the iPhone announcement coming up this afternoon, so I hope that's worth doing a video on. We'll soon see. All right, until the next video. Later.